is a test of the emergency broadcast system.
This is only a test.
DJs and MCs. This DJ, he gets it out.
Listen to this jockey's introduction to
DJs and a mic with your host, DJ Mike.
Is that a timetable?
And DJ JP.
Well, get on it. It's your time.
Give me the mic.
Welcome to another episode of Two DJs, One Mic. We're blessed here with someone that has, I would say, a great skill set.
Yeah.
Yes. She's strong and all of those good things.
Yes.
You know, and it's we're blessed to have Lindsay Knight on the show with us. Are you kin to Michael Knight? You know who that is?
Stop it.
I don't think so.
No, stop it. Don't fall for it. It's a bad joke. Bad.
It is not a joke.
Who is Michael Knight?
Well, I would say this. Lindsay told me her age because she doesn't know who that is.
Okay. Well,
but anyway, it's the car Night Ride.
Okay.
Bad joke. But no, bad one. She wouldn't know who that was. Mike?
Well, I thought she might, she may have known.
Excellent.
Point.
Yeah. No point. Bad on him for even thinking you would know who that was.
Hey, you never know, but
you're right.
Thank you for being here with us, joining us today. We're just great to have you. I was blessed to see Lindsay at work at one of the networking events. And when I saw the breakdown, my chin probably hit the floor. Because I'm like, what?
It's not a real piano?
Yes. So, Lindsay, tell us something about yourself. No.
Tell us what you
Tell
do.
us who you are.
Yes.
What you do.
So I am a wedding and event pianist in the DFW area, and I specialize in creating custom processionals and playlists for couples and for people throwing events. And one of the unique things that I offer is I bring what's called a piano shell with me. So instead of just having a keyboard on a typical stand that you might see, I actually have it looks like a baby grand piano. And so I have a collection that I've built up with white and black and big and small. And so we make it fit with the ambiance and the vibe of the event. And it's been really fun.
So the shell that we saw at that event, was that a big or small?
So that was one of the larger ones that I have. So it's about 50 inches long. And yes, I can fit it in the back of my car. The legs come off and it's actually hollow. So it's light enough for me to carry, which is great. Makes it so I decided when I first purchased these that I had to be able to move it myself. And so it's a size that I can maneuver and set up. But yeah, the one I had was my black 50-inch, which is roughly the size of a baby grand.
Is it real keys or what is that? Like a keyboard or is it?
Yeah. So what I have is I have an electric keyboard that I stick inside of the shell, and because it's hollow, I can put all of the chords in there. I have a portable battery that I stick in there, so I can play in the middle of a field with no power if I need to.
Did you have power at night, or were you out in the middle of the field, weren't you?
I was, yeah. So we were at Texas Discovery Gardens, and I was just in the middle of a grassy area, no outlet in sight, but we can make it work.
So, do you take a speaker with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, I do. And I have a keyboard that has the sound come out, but typically in those larger spaces, I have it feed out to a speaker.
So, do you do a Bluetooth speaker?
Typically I do a wired speaker. I've been trying to test out what my options are, but
because I think Bluetooth would really be good. Well, yes, you're right. You're right.
That might be.
That's the one tricky
she's
thing.
hitting the key and it's another key.
Yeah, half
and
a
then it's
second
in her ear, and
later.
she's like, oh no, I'm off. But no.
Yeah.
So where did this idea come from? Did you see it before somewhere else? Or?
I had seen it done before. Really, what happened is when I started doing this, when I was playing for events, usually the keyboard by itself, it was fine. But when I started playing for weddings, I'd be going to this beautiful wedding and have this metal stand with a keyboard on it, and it did not give the luxury, elegant vibe that most weddings call for. And so I started Googling and found a few companies that made them, a few musicians that were actively using them, and decided if I was going to do this, I had to.
Service announcement. Look the part.
No, I'm sitting here thinking about that.
I was just thinking the same thing.
I'm like, man,
she elevated
totally
her game. She totally changed it. Yeah, just by doing something different outside the box, not being the normal keyboard guy showing up. She did full 50-inch grand or whatever you want to crank. Yeah.
I have this question. So before, what was your value before you did that? Did you have a hard time getting your asked price versus now?
I won't say that I had a hard time getting my valued price, but I have increased what I am able to charge significantly since adding those options.
I would say yes. I would say yes.
At the time, it was just I was in a very different ballgame than I am now.
It was in a different place.
Right, yes.
So, quick one. How long have you been doing it? When did you start?
So I've played the piano since I was 7 years old. So most of my life.
That might be a few weeks ago.
But I actually only started doing weddings at the end of 2022. So it's only been about a year and a half, a little more.
So how did you get there?
It's a great question. So I had never thought that music would be a part of my career. I stopped playing classic. Right? I stopped playing classically in high school. Decided to pursue something different in college, and then just I guess the middle of 2022, I had a friend of a friend who was looking for a pianist. They were getting married at the Mason, which has a beautiful piano, and they couldn't really find someone who would play the music that they wanted. And so they got my information from a mutual friend we had, and I said, I've never done a wedding, but if you trust me to do that, I'm happy to try. Did it. They absolutely loved what I was able to do for them. I put together a very specific set of songs.
Did you get paid?
Yes, I did. I did. And it was one of those where I'm like, I don't know how much anyone charges for this, so you pay me what you think. I will say they were very generous for it being my first wedding. So I played it, and again had a blast, loved doing it, and decided maybe this is something that I'll try to.
So did you go back and do your market research after that?
Yes. Yeah.
Were you mad?
What's that?
Were you mad
for what I was paid? Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't, because they paid me more than I ever thought anyone would pay me to play. And
that doesn't make it right.
No, I mean it was. It was probably good.
It was like, honestly, what they paid me. From what they paid me, the weddings I did following that, I got paid much less. Oh. And so
see, that's what I'm saying, because she did, because they already have a baby grand in there, so she didn't have to tote anything upstairs or nothing. Did you play upstairs and downstairs?
Just upstairs. Okay. Yeah.
So
I mean, at that point, I didn't have a keyboard. I taking my own equipment wasn't even an option. At that point, I barely knew that people paid pianists to do weddings. So it was all a learning experience.
So when that happened, did you have an aha moment?
I did. I kind of realized, like, oh, this is something that people want. I mean, the fact that this venue has a piano, which I didn't realize that. Well, I mean, most venues still don't, but there are a few that do. And so I realized, oh, this could be a thing. And so that wedding was November of 2022. And so it was actually a nice time, because then we go into holiday parties. So I did a few holiday parties that year, and that's when. So that's when I decided, okay, let's try this out. Started putting myself on some gig websites, acquired my first keyboard, so that I would have the option to do venues that didn't have a piano, and just kind of took off from there.
So when you came home and you told your husband that you were taking on a new profession, or you pulling out the keys again? How did he? What was his response?
He's very supportive. Like,
That's
you
great.
know what? If you want to give this a shot, he's always been very supportive of whatever it is that I wanted to do,
That's
and
great.
we love him for
Okay.
that. So thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
So
Shout out,
he's
Paul.
always been so supportive. Whether it's me being gone for a weekend because I have multiple events, or shelling
Wow.
out quite a bit of money for equipment that I wasn't
There you
sure the
go.
business was going to pay for.
Hello.
Now, luckily, all of the equipment has ultimately paid for itself, which is fantastic. But
That's
no,
good.
yeah, my husband has been my biggest support and cheerleader, and yeah, it's been great.
Wow, that's
Wow.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
So when you got married, you didn't have a piano at your wedding, did you?
I did not. I know.
So, but you never thought about that for weddings, or you've never seen it, even at your friends? You've never
No, I never did. And I will say I got married very young, and it was a very low key,
Mhm.
backyard, which
Yeah.
was beautiful and lovely and great. And I just didn't know that type
You
of
didn't
thing
know
was,
that
was
existed.
I really
Yeah,
didn't. I really didn't.
Well, we don't see keys outside a lot, for
Right.
sure.
Well, and that's another thing is most people don't realize that having a piano outside is an option. I mean,
Yeah.
unless you saw it, you wouldn't really think, oh, I can do that. Obviously having a violinist outside is much easier than a piano, and
Well, you've proven that to be a lie.
Yeah.
right. And so that's what I've been working on, is trying to get people aware of, no, this is an option, even if you're getting married in the middle of a field or a garden or whatever it is.
Wow.
So have you had any situations where people walked up and was like, "That's not a real piano"?
Almost every event I do, I get
How
at
does
least.
that make you feel?
Like, yes, this piano is mine, and yes, I brought it in all by myself. And
Yeah, because I think
no,
she
it's
was
not
telling
real.
you that, didn't she? She told you.
I'm telling you, when I saw it, I'm like, what? I feel like I had been, got
Yeah.
bamboozled.
Right. Well, I mean, it looks like a real piano.
Yeah.
And it, for the most part, sounds. Unless you are a pianist, most people can't tell the difference
Oh, I'm
in the
telling
sound.
you. When I came
Um,
in, I looked over. I'm like, that's nice. Got a piano.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
kept going.
But see, I know her because I don't know where we met. Amber talked to you the first time. That works for us. Amber.
Yes.
And God, where do we?
I think we met at NACE, like one of the NACE events earlier this year. I think it
Yeah,
was the
and she
first
was
time.
playing, and Lindsay, Amber was blown away. She was like, "Man, we got to get her on our team. We got to talk to her. We need to get some events with her. That would be so great." And but I think she's been trying, but we haven't really been able to put anything together yet. But yeah, she was blown away. She was like, she's got a real piano, a full piano." I was like, "Yeah." So
yeah, well, and that's something that I was trying to figure out at the beginning was I can't hire in some, because I cannot lift a normal piano by myself, obviously. And so looking at, okay, if someone's getting married in one of these other venues, what would it take to get a piano in there? And, you have to bring it in, you have to tune it, all of these things. And so the way I have it set up is it's much easier, it's much cheaper than getting in a real piano. And for the most part, most people cannot tell the difference. So it works out.
No.
I didn't
No, that's a
consider. I
beautiful
didn't come look, but I was like, "Man, there's no way she's hauling around this big butt piano." No,
it was
first time I saw, I was like, "Oh my god!" But it was good. It was a cocktail hour for. I don't know if it might have been. It was one of the groups you did it for, and I was like, "Wow, this is really cool, really cool."
So where do you see this going?
That's a great question, and I feel like it changes all the time. This really started out as a very, very part-time side gig, and it's still technically my side gig. I do have a regular job that I work during the week. And
That didn't sound too convincing.
You have one foot in the door and one foot out the door.
Clearly, she's on her way out.
It would be really fun to be able to commit full time. We're not there yet, but I continue to try and expand what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and find ways to, maybe sometime it will be my full-time situation. So we'll see.
Have you thought about getting some more people on your roster that do the same thing and sending them out?
Yeah, I have, I've thought about it. It's not something that I've been ready to commit to, and
Because that's the way you get out.
Right, exactly. Yes, yes, I know, and I think there's definitely some hesitation on my part, just a fear of, okay, if I'm putting other people out under my name and my brand, can they deliver the same level of not just performance but professionalism and being able to represent? And I'm sure there are, but I have not. I have not gone that route yet. So
we'll it's a tough route to go because every day we pray. I mean, I pray every day. I have 7 or 8 that work for me, and I pray. You know, every Saturday is like a nightmare, and you're just hoping to wake up Sunday without anybody getting killed. But I mean, we have good people. If you train them well, give them the tools. You pray.
I hope y'all are not listening.
They pray.
Anyway.
Well, it don't matter. You know, heck, I get worried about me. You know, am I gonna show up? But I mean, you know, just it's a really a tough thing. Like you say, my name, my brand, and all it takes is one. You take all this 2.5 years or a year and a half to build it up, and it takes one individual to come in with a cinder block killer and just knock it all down.
Yeah, and I think one thing that makes it tricky for me is I spend so much time personalizing and customizing these arrangements for couples. So, you know, as a DJ, obviously you're doing a lot of the mixing and putting songs together and all that. And so I do that for the piano. So if they have a different song for the groom and the processional for the wedding party, and the bride has her own song, you know, I'm taking all the songs, I'm putting them in the same key. I'm putting transitions in that make it sound like one seamless song.
So I have to ask this style. Yeah. So why, like, we'll be doing something with I don't know, just say strings or whatever. Why do they have to play the whole song before they stop? Like, say the bride, it's 4 people in the wedding party. They've been there in 10 minutes. Why do they do that?
I think one thing is when you're working with multiple musicians, with which for strings, you know, it's a lot harder to find a way for it to stop. I mean,
on the hand drop, we all stop.
So is it easy? Is it easier to do that with finish it though?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So what I do is, again, like I was saying, put all the songs together. I actually record it for the couple so they can make sure that they love it, and that's something that most musicians actually will not do. Like they will not do it. Even I've had a few people be like, I asked if they would do it and they wouldn't. But for me, you know, not all songs translate to piano like it might in your head. Not every song, you know, especially if it's a song with like a lot of repeating notes or lyrics, it sounds different. And so I want to make sure that they love it.
So I've been with Mike for 2 years. So if I was Mike, this is the question I would ask. What is an example of a song that won't translate to a piano?
Oh, let's see.
I know that's a Mike question because in here I'm like, what song won't translate to piano?
I'm trying to think of an example, and a lot of times, like, we can make it work. Like I remember, I can't remember exactly what song it was. It was a Taylor Swift song, but it was one that she sings the same note repeatedly. I wish I could remember which song it was, but it just ended up sounding very repetitive on the piano because with strings, you know, you can do a lot more expression with the note.
There's more going on.
Right. So with the piano, it's if you're playing the same note over and over, or if there's a lot of very long drawn out notes, you can't put the expression into it like you could with say a violin.
So can you hit the switch and turn it into an organ?
Technically, yes, I can, but I prefer not to.
Okay. Remix.
Right, but what I
interesting.
Yeah, but what I don't want is for a bride to, you know, they open the doors and the bride's going down the aisle and she's like, oh, this is not what I wanted. And so I record it for them so they can make sure it's exactly what they want, and we can make adjustments as needed. And then when it's the day of and we're going, you know, I always make sure I'm in a place where I can see, you know, the doors or as people are going up so that I can make those adjustments. So the wedding party's not sitting there for 10 minutes while we're finishing the song. I have cuts put in where I can make adjustments to add a chorus, you know, cut this verse of the song so that it feels like it's moving. People aren't either rushed or taking too long. And yeah,
that's a lot that goes into that, Mike.
It is, you know, it is more than you might think, but yeah.
So are people, do you have to do that because people are musically deep and they want to hear that, the people that hire you, or is that just something you just do? Could you just go in and they never know the difference?
I probably could, but it's just, and I tried to do it where they could, pay for the extra customization, and it's just not in my nature to not do it. And so I'm like, this is what I offer. And
yeah. I would say that you're a tad bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
When it comes to music. It has to be, it has to sound, right. So I would take it that you write music.
So I don't write, like original music per se. I do arrange a lot of music. I do a lot of covers is what I mostly do.
Okay. Yeah. But you read music, I would assume.
Yes. Yeah. That is my main thing is I can read. If you were to put music in front of me, I can read most things. Sight reading is something that I've spent a lot of time doing, and so which is nice. So when I go to a not necessarily a wedding, but a birthday party or an anniversary party, something like that, a lot of times I'll get people giving me requests, and as a DJ, I can't just look it up on Spotify and be like, here we go. But what I do have is libraries of music that I bring on my iPad, and so as long as I can pull it up, most times I can play the song, which is fun.
Go ahead. I'm gonna let you get some in.
Go ahead.
So if me and you were to play together and I drop a track, would you be able to just play it?
So I can't play by ear, which I wish I could do. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if I can get there. But if I can have a heads up, I can't. It is not programmed into my brain to know what key it's in or things like that. But if I have a heads up and I can pull up the sheet music, which I can do in a matter of seconds, I could probably follow along and play along with you.
Because it's funny, our DJ equipment now has key, all that stuff. We can tell you all that.
If you could do that, and I'm somewhat familiar with the song, then I could likely follow along. Yeah. And I actually, this is something
So it's no improvising with you.
So if I have the sheet music, I can improv based on that. So most of the music that I play, what I do is I find a very simplified version of the song, and then I jazz it up and make it my own. So I'm not improvising as in making my own music, but I'm improvising on the song itself so that it's more embellished and more fun and fits the vibe of what the event we're playing for. Yeah.
So it's more for you. It has to be a rehearsed situation for you. You don't do the spontaneous.
So if I can find the music, I can be spontaneous. So I've had events. There was a retirement party that I did that just turned into a giant sing along. And most of the songs that they were requesting I had never played before, but because I could pull them up, I could play probably 98% of what they had requested, and it was a blast. It was so fun, and again, didn't know the songs, but if I can find it, I can play it for you. So
cool.
Yeah.
So seeing where you are now and how you go about doing what you do, what is something that you think that you can learn how to do that will push you to the next level?
That's a great question. So one thing I'm trying to figure out. So typically when people hire me, they are looking for the ceremony or possibly ceremony and cocktail hour, because that's where your piano typically makes sense. So I've been looking at ways that I can expand that and fit in with with the reception part of it. And so I actually have acquired what they call a keytar, which is basically a keyboard that you can walk around with. It looks more like a guitar, but it's a keyboard.
Okay.
And so I'm trying to figure out how I can play it and have it, like they have the saxophones and the electric violins. We're going to have a walk around electric piano. So that's what I am currently working on.
So most of the songs you probably already played for cocktail hour, we could do in dinner. And then you could really vibe. Well, I could give you 20, 30 songs. We could definitely play together.
Yeah.
And then if something was a little strange, I'd be like, hey, I'm going to this. You could make it work. And I'm trying to see, I saw somebody lately that had one of those in a band that went around and played. It might have been when I saw Zach Bryan out at a ranch. But he had a guy that did that, and he would jump up and play different songs. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, and it's fun because with it you can also make an electric guitar sound or a synth sound and all sorts of things. So yeah, I'm
Well,
playing around with
she's
that.
spending
So we'll
already,
see.
Mike.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
Well, I think it will definitely be helpful having someone else to play off. Whether a lot of times it is the DJ,
Mhm.
and that gives that added boost because you're taking the best of both worlds, so to speak.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And
I have seen a piano and a DJ together at a conference we went to. It was extremely cool.
Oh yeah.
Extremely cool.
Well, I think it's always cool because when people see these type of connections, or it's always like and it's not as difficult as they see it.
Yeah.
Right. It's you're playing in time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you done that before?
I haven't. This is a very recent. Like I acquired one, and now I'm.
No, I'm talking about have you played with a DJ before?
I have not played with a DJ before.
I don't know why I thought you had played with
I've talked
Kelly.
to a few DJs, but no, I haven't.
Yeah. Maybe she has another piano player that she does it with. But I thought it was you. But okay. Yeah, so that's really cool. I mean, it's just outside the box. Something totally different. Just bringing something to the wedding game, and she's elevated. Have you played every venue or nice venue you think you want to play at here?
I mean, there's a few in the area that I haven't played yet that I would love to. I haven't played at the Adolphus yet, which I am going to later this year, which is very exciting.
Very exciting.
I mean, I have played it a lot.
I couldn't imagine you having to load a piano into that place.
Well, luckily they do have a piano at the Adolphus.
Wait till you load in, though.
Luckily for that one, I just have to walk in.
If you had to go to another way, my God.
Yeah.
Through the kitchen.
I would just have to carry it one piece at a time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It is interesting. But so where else is somewhere else you'd like to play?
Oh, good question.
Because we are, as DJs, we all have our list of venues we want to play.
I haven't played at the Alana, which is a beautiful venue that I would love to
play. Do they have a piano? Yeah, they do.
I don't think they do.
I'm trying to think if it's on this side. They may not, but if it is, it'll be on this side. Because the other side, they have a little stage where most of the violinists and sax play at. And I know there's not one in that great room, but I have to look next time I go.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah.
Those are probably the two big ones that come to mind. But I have done a wedding at the Dallas Arboretum, but it was a pretty small just ceremony on a Sunday morning, which again was beautiful. But would love to do like a full wedding with the big white grand, because it would just look really cool in that space.
So content wise, do you have a creator follow you, or do you do it, or how do you get your content out there?
Yeah, so I do have a content creator that I work with. She's fantastic. Her name is Liz. That she'll come with me on days where I'm like, okay, there'll be some good content here. A lot of it I just kind of do on the fly as it goes, which I don't have a lot of ceremony content because I'm obviously focused on what I'm doing, but that's something I want to get better at is capturing that content. But I do have a few weddings and days. It's actually days where I've had multiple weddings that I'm like, okay, you're following me all day and we're going to capture all this content. So yeah.
That's really, man. Yeah, because when I saw it, I was like, that's cool. I really would love to DJ with her. Because I've done it with sax, and I've been trying to get with a violinist, but normally they just playing for like cocktail hour or something, never come on the inside. But it's just really, I think it's super cool to play with each other. And then the wedding I did at the Adolphus, I actually played with a 10-piece band.
That's
so
awesome.
They would start off, and I would catch them with the song. And then it was like they would all stop and turn around and look at me because they couldn't believe I had caught them and was playing the song.
Yeah.
And then last minute, we show up, the groom comes out, hey, can y'all play the first dance together? Can y'all play this? And they were from Atlanta, so I had never met them.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, y'all start, I'll catch y'all. So, I mean, it worked out. But it was like, anybody else, probably inexperienced person would have been like, oh.
What do I do?
What do I do? But the band probably could have caught them too more so. But I just said, y'all go and I'll catch y'all. Yeah. So, but it's a lot of fun. It's just creative because, you might do something different. We can take the words out, let your words be, your keys be on top. It's just a lot of ways that can go, and it can be really fun.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So when you did your first event, when you pulled out the piano, so to speak,
Uh-huh.
how was that?
Oh,
For
the
you?
first one where I had to set up the piano, it was
Mhm.
very stressful. So when I first started, so I ordered a shell. It was the first one I had. It was a black shell, and it was beautiful. It was very heavy, and so I had to figure out a way to transport it and move it. Luckily, the venue where I did the first one, it was outside, and so it was a little easier to figure out what I was doing and where I was putting things. And I have video of how ridiculous it was to put it up because it was so heavy.
No hubby with you.
Oh no, he came with me on the first one, but
Okay.
I said, you stay over there to make it so I can try to do this myself. You're not going to be able to come with me to all of the events.
Yeah.
So he drove all the way out just to sit there and watch me struggle. But it turned out fine. But it didn't take very long for me to realize this is not the right type of shell for what I'm trying to do. This is one that's going to suit better a band that is just playing on stage and it's for the most part staying in the same spot. And so I actually sold that one and purchased some other ones where I was like, okay, I can lift this, I can set this up on my own, and I'm not worried about it falling because it weighs 120 pounds.
So are you looking to customize that, like add your logo to the top of it?
I've thought about it. I really like the clean look. Especially for someone's wedding. I've looked at, temporary options where I could add it, especially when I'm sponsoring an event or it's something a little more low key. One thing I have loved doing is working with like florists or decorators where they're actually put flowers on the piano so that it matches and it looks beautiful. It becomes very much a focal
Centerpiece.
point. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow, this is so nice. It's and it's kind of hard. We're trying to paint a picture. Just imagine someone having a keyboard inside of a piano. Hell of a thought.
We should have took some pictures. I don't know why we didn't.
Well, it's always time.
Yeah,
I can send you some. I can send you some.
Yeah, send us some
images,
so we can add them to the show or put them in the clips.
It looks beautiful and actually makes it look even more like a real piano because then
I
it kind
thought
of
it was
hides
the
the
first
other.
time I saw it. I still didn't know it wasn't real until I saw you taking it apart. I was like, okay, she's got us all fooled over here. But it looks. It looks great. And I'm with you. Don't add anything to it. Leave it.
I agree.
Unless you put, like the words of whatever kind of piano, like Baby Grand or something on there, whatever they put on the piano. So no, it looks great.
Thank you.
So, are you only dealing with one manufacturer right now?
So I have two different companies that I work with.
I'm not asking about the name.
No, there's a few companies that specialize in creating these shells, and so a lot of research went in and again purchased one that it just wasn't right for what I needed, and so looked at a few more. And I found two that I really like. One that I've used for kind of the smaller setups, and then one that does more of the large setups. And my husband is he's like, you can't get any more. We have no more room. And so when Alicia Keys was playing in the halftime with her big red piano, I had probably 8 or 10 people text me and be like, you have to get a red piano. And I'm like, I don't think I have the clientele to warrant the cost of that
vinyl
red
wrap.
piano.
You can wrap it and unwrap it.
I would have to do some major research on that one.
Call my wife.
Somebody may pay for it.
My wife. No, she could get it done for you.
No, I'm just I get that. I'm just saying somebody may pay for a red piano.
Red piano.
Maybe.
I'm just saying that would be cool.
So which one do you find goes out the most? White, black, or?
So for weddings, white, hands down. It's the white one for the weddings. For more of your other events, your graduations and your corporate parties, they're typically going for the black.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing the corporate parties, or are they asking for up-tempo music or just?
Yeah, so a lot of the corporate events I do are your holiday parties, and so it's a lot of your Christmas songs and right.
Oh, wait, okay. Okay.
Right.
All right. I'm with you. I'm back.
But for
Don't take me there.
for most of the
We got
other
6 months.
right, yeah, you still got time. For most of the other corporate events that I do, typically what they're wanting is upbeat covers. So I'm playing your top 40 songs in just a fun piano style. So
what's the hardest song that you had to play?
oh, that's a good question. I don't.
Is it Taylor?
I mean, most of the harder songs that I play are when people are requesting like actual classical music, which I don't play a lot of anymore. Those are probably the hardest requests I get because you have to be a little more precise. Most of the covers, I'm creating the arrangement myself, and so I'm creating it in a style that I can play. And so it's when it's a very specific arrangement. Those are typically the ones that are a little trickier. I will say I do have a version of Still Dre that is very complicated, and I'm working on learning that one right now because
Wow.
It's funny you say that. So we did an event a few
one.
months ago, and it was dueling pianos. And he broke out with Still Dre.
Yeah.
And he was like, "We're gonna go down a little bit," and it was like, I was like, "Really? Is he really playing that?" Because it was a country and western plays we read, but he said somebody requested, so he went, and they went into a hip hop set. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I have played Still Dre for 2 different wedding processionals.
For the groom?
One was for the groom, and I think one was for the groomsmen. Yeah.
So do you have your own playlist that you've curated
share
that you
with
give
them
to the clients, or do you let them totally customize what they want?
I let them customize it. So I have a list of, most popular songs to help them if they have no idea or they've made so many decisions that they don't want to pick anything else. They're like, you choose.
Yeah.
And so I have that standard playlist. And usually with that, I just ask, do you want Taylor Swift or not? And do you want Disney songs or not? And after those
pre-ceremony.
Yeah, or like a cocktail hour. And then, I mean, for the ceremony itself, they can request whatever they want. There's really no limit to what they can ask for.
Number one requested bride walk down the aisle song.
Can't Help Falling in Love with You.
Yeah.
That's the most common
Haley or what's her name? Haley Renard or something like that. That version. No, man.
What song are you tired of playing?
What song am I tired of playing? I don't know. I mean, when people are just requesting like Canon and D, a lot of it's like kind of like okay, fine, because it's not as fun.
This week is Canon and D.
I mean, just for me, it's not as like fun to play. It's it's.
Can you jazz it up?
I typically do
the wedding march. Give it a little something.
Usually I do add a little something to it. I'm not just playing like the very standard
Canon and D.
So do you get bored with playing the same thing?
Not usually, because to this point, there's only been maybe 3 or 4 weddings where they're the same arrangement. Pretty much every wedding I do is different, whether the groom song is different or the bride entrance is different. So usually every processional I'm doing is different and unique in some way. And so that really keeps things fun and unique.
Okay. So now this is an interesting question. So what is it about what you do that feeds what you need to continue to do it?
I think it's really that creative customization of it and just getting the reaction of the couples. Again, I record all of the processionals and I send it to them so that they can react to it. And 9 times out of 10, what I'm getting back is, this made me cry. This made me excited again for my wedding. Like, I was so burned out of making decisions and planning this, and this really kind of brought me back to why we're doing this. And so just having that interaction with the couples and hearing that excitement about what I've done, what I've created for them, and that they're excited about walking down the aisle to that arrangement. And then, when it actually happens and seeing their face and watching the groom cry or whatever it is. One thing that I love doing is when the bride has actually surprised the groom with a different song. So she'll tell him that she's walking down the aisle to Canon and D. And then come the day of, we switch it and it's the Lord of the Rings theme song, because that's his favorite movie. And he has no idea. It's like, it's moments like that where we're making it so unique and special and something that no one's ever heard before. that's what I love.
Any Star Wars weddings?
Oh yeah. Yep. And so funny story. So last year I did a wedding. It was at Notting Hill. It was a beautiful
I was
beautiful
gonna ask
wedding.
you at work there, but you didn't say it, so I figured you had.
Yes. So it was a beautiful wedding, and it was funny because the bride, she was trying to pick her songs, and she's like, her fiance, she's like, he just wants to walk down the aisle to something from Star Wars. But the mother of the bride was like, absolutely not. Like we're like, no. And I was like, okay, so we have Across the Stars. It's a beautiful song. What if we turn it into more of a major key and we flow it in with these other songs? We had some other beautiful songs going into it. And I said, let me play with it. And so I played with it and put the Star Wars in, recorded it, and they all loved it, including the mother of the bride. And so he got to walk down the aisle to Star Wars, and everyone was happy, and it was beautiful, and it was great.
Now, I haven't been. That brings me to. So, do you play like use an iPad or something under sometimes, or do you just all straight?
So I use an iPad pretty much all the time, and part of that is, one, I want to make sure that I am playing what I have promised I will play, so there's not too much room in my brain to just kind of go off the cuff. So I do have it all, on my iPad. I have my notes. I have how many people are walking down the aisle to each song, so I can keep track of it. And then I actually have a pedal that I have under the piano that turns the pages for me.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
she's thought of it all over.
You
right?
know what? I
really
learned
want to know.
quickly.
That's something with the iPod, or is that something that they've created for musicians?
Yeah, so it's pretty specific for musicians, and yeah, it just Bluetooth to your iPad.
We could be at the DJ booth doing this with our hands, talking on the mic, and have some change the page on our iPad.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I've only used it with like music software, or I know you can use it with books, but yeah, it works. Yeah. It works.
Yeah,
great.
Turn the notes. Okay, now we're on to the green.
Or like if I need to like go backwards and be like, okay, I've got to play this song again because Grandma's walking real slow. I can have it turn the pages backwards and then go forwards and go between songs.
Yeah. She's really dove deep into the music side.
I've tried to make it as streamlined and easy and foolproof as I can.
Well, one of the things that I'm enjoying about this is your passion.
Yes.
So it's clearly something that you love.
It is.
And the great thing about it is when you end up doing something that you would have thought that you would be doing. At no time in your life did you think that playing the piano would be a career move.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever?
Never. I never thought
unless
that.
Unless you did classical or with some orchestra.
I mean, when I was probably 14, 15, I wanted to go the classical music route. I wanted to study it in college, and then actually got tendonitis when I was 15, and so that kind of derailed my my music path. And I kept playing, and instead of focusing on the classical side, focused on doing just more of the fun things. So I played for the musical theater at my high school. I played for the choir. I played for church and things over the years and taught lessons and done. So
did you have a nickname?
No, I don't. I did not.
Okay, she can tell us if she did.
I
Come on. Everybody's got a DJ name, a piano name.
I didn't. Someone should have given me one, but no, I didn't. But
we will be thinking.
You let me know. But I never thought that. Again, once I kind of gave up that dream, if you will, around 15 years old, I was like, this will just be something I do for fun and play for other people.
Do you ever call the couple back that initially brought you back and say, "Man, thank y'all for"?
I do. Yeah, on their anniversary, I send them. I send them some cookies and a note, and that is so cool. It meant so much to me that they would trust me, even though I had never actually met them. They had never really heard me play. I had sent her a sample, but they just trusted me to do it and to make it happen. And they were so gracious and so appreciative, and kind of really gave me the boost. She said, anywhere you need a review, tell me, I will be your first review on all the things. Yeah. So they were so supportive in kind of being that first. And it, really was a big change in my life. So it was, it was great.
So with this not being something that's so mainstream, and most people that do this, it's not the norm
Mhm.
as of right now. It makes me wonder, do you have better relationships with the bride and grooms that hire you? Meaning going forward. Some situations or some weddings that we do, like I have some bride and grooms that I've done their weddings for. We're still friends to this day.
Mhm.
And it just makes me think that you have a lot more of that going on than what we do.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely stayed connected with a number of couples that I've worked with, and I think part of that comes from, again, this is such a personal moment. I mean, at the end of the day, this is the reason the wedding is happening, is this walk down the aisle, this ceremony, and so I'm creating the soundtrack to that moment, and so I really have to have that personal connection with them, and the choosing of the songs and the editing of the arrangement and all of that, and so I have come close to a number of the couples that I've played for. And it's been fun.
Have you taken that opportunity to show value in your service? More value?
As in that connection.
Well, I'm just
that I
saying,
made?
when you like think about what you do
Mhm.
and how much time and the customization of what you do.
Mhm.
It's almost sitting here listening to you is almost like listening to a planner. Would you agree?
Somewhat? Or I mean,
Well, I'm just saying the
what
time.
we do too.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm just saying that time that you put in.
Mhm.
Sometimes we can put in so much time that we don't really even see the value of what we're doing
Right.
because it's just who we are.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good.
So have you, just taken the opportunity to write down everything that you do
Mhm.
and look at the value in that and determine, am I too low?
I have, and it's been
It'd
a
be
process.
too high, Mike.
Yeah, it's been a process. I will say the hardest thing for me over the last 2 years has been the pricing.
Artists.
It's
It's hard for everybody. Don't.
Well, I'm just
Right.
saying the artist.
Yeah.
It's always hard because I think that
True
we
artists.
really don't think that we're worthy.
Right. 100%. And you know what? When I started doing this, like so the first wedding, again, they paid me like it was very much worth my time.
Mhm.
And the weddings I did after that, just trying to kind of get my name out there. I mean, I was charging like $100 for a wedding ceremony, just to get
We're
in the
not
door.
saying anything.
No,
we're just
Yeah,
okay.
it's again, that was just starting out.
A whopping
Yeah,
75.
yeah.
So
6 hours probably.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm driving out to the middle of nowhere. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, at least this is paying for my gas, barely. And so it's been really hard, especially doing all the research for what other musicians are charging in the area. A lot of them are not charging very much, and some of them, and this is no knock to what anyone else is doing, but a lot of them are more getting towards the end of their music career, and so they're like, I want to show up and play these songs that I know, and they're not wanting to do the recordings and the customization so much as just play the songs and leave. And so looking at what they're charging versus, okay, well, I'm adding this level of value and this level of customization, what is that worth? That's been really hard to figure out and justify.
Do you have a mentor or people that you're learning from in industry planners, other musicians in the wedding industry?
Yeah, I do. I have some other musicians that I've connected with that we've kind of all worked together and banded together, if you will. Wedding musicians need to charge more for what they're doing.
Yeah, I got y'all picking signs.
More or less. So yeah, there's definitely some people that I've worked with and
industry welcoming.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Well,
okay. Yes.
The value thing is very hard, and I think it's it's something that we all have to look at, and just listening to what you do and how you do it. Please don't devalue that because I'm just saying one thing that's always a winner is when you're customizing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Customizing is not something that's easy, and it requires a lot. And a lot of people don't do it. Hey, this is what I do, and this is what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
I like what you said about the older ones are just, hey, this is what I can play.
And that's understandable. I've made what I'm going to make. I'm just, I just want to have fun. I'm going to, this is all I'm going to play. But I'm just saying, for yourself, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you're recording tracks and sending it to them, which, in my opinion, it's for them, but it's really for you to really make sure that, because I think the last thing that you want to deal with is not doing something the way that it should be done.
Mm-hmm.
And have to deal with the fallout from that.
That's fair. I mean, I will say it started out not as like a fear of something going wrong, but more of I want them to just be so excited about what they're doing. And that's
a good move.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's really a great, I'm just saying that's a value added piece. Mm-hmm. Because it's like, oh, she is the real deal.
So how often do you get, no, don't like it?
It doesn't happen very often. Sometimes we'll have smaller adjustments on like the timing, or like for the bride's entrance. Some want it very dramatic and some want it a little more like light and airy. So sometimes it's just a slight change in the style. Sometimes it's a change in like which part of the song we're using. Mm-hmm. So usually it's little tweaks like that. I mean, I have had a few where they're like, you know what, I really don't like this song in this way or with this group of songs. So
does it bother you?
No,
because they make a choice.
I know, but I'm just asking. And and I'm not saying this to you. Some people that may be a shot to the ego.
It is, and typically it's, typically people are if there's something they don't like they're very apologetic. Like, I really hope this doesn't hurt your feelings, or I found this video on TikTok and I really like the way that this person played it, and I'm like, please, like. We are making this what you want it to be. Like, I try to take all of the ego out of it, because at the end of the day, wonderful. I want them to love it. If it was me going on stage and performing this for myself, obviously that's a different story. But when it comes to this, I'm like, I can't be sensitive about that, because we're working towards their vision. And if mine doesn't match, that's okay.
So think about, we do exactly what you do. They'll give us a list of 4 or 5 songs for a mashup. We have our vision in our head where the break should be or where this should be, and we send it to them. No, I want this, I want that. So, I mean, again, Mike, we need to know our value when it comes to that too, because I've done 15 edits on a mashup, or 5 or 6, and just change this, or 30 seconds of this, or cut it right here, put a sound effect right there. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying. So we do the same thing. Yeah. We customize stuff too. Not every bride gets a mashup, but we do enough in a year to where it can be.
I've learned my lesson on that through another friend.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, I automatically have stipulations. You only get a certain amount of edits.
Do you have that?
So technically, like in my agreement, I do. I have never maxed out. I think the most revisions I have done is probably 4, and usually it's only 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I'm really good at getting the vision.
We feel like we are too.
Well, let me ask you this, because this drives me crazy. If I'm doing an edit for someone and where they want it cut, it's not in time. Mm-hmm. It's not in rhythm, and it sounds horrible.
As a DJ, it kills you.
I'm just saying,
that's
for
why
me,
you drop a sound
like,
effect, Mike.
I can't. I'm just saying, they like, no, I want it like this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in a Friday, the 13th movie, and Jason just hit me with the knife.
Right. And you want to just stop it, right?
Like, no,
let me change the script. You all rhythm here. The knife is going with not going with the beat.
So that's the nice thing about what I do, is because I'm writing the arrangement. So if I need to put in like a time signature change or a key change, I have a little more freedom to add. So, it's a little easier when you're working with one instrument that you can manipulate a little better than like a recorded song. So I do have that working in my favor.
No, we don't.
We don't.
Well, and it's it's a lot easier to make 2 songs that don't sound anything alike to work together on one instrument than it is
yes.
for a recording.
I
I can make most songs sound like they at least fit together, even if for a record. Like for example, I did I had Dr. Dre going into the Office theme song, going into a theme song from an anime. I think it was.
So
a
do
movie.
you just stop sometime, or it's always continuous?
Oh, it's always continuous. So there's always a transition written in, and so even though none of those
pianist,
songs,
guys, not a DJ. But,
yeah. So even if none of those songs sound good together,
when you say transition, can you define that for us? Because I'm trying to understand what that sounds like.
So I mean. Like I'm trying to think of how I could. I'm like I should have brought my keyboard. I could play for you, but
see, we should have. Now we're gonna have to send us a clip.
Right, I'll send you a clip. But so basically, it's taking I guess to compare it to kind of what you do. Sometimes when you have the songs kind of both playing at the same time, I'm sure there's a word for that.
Blending.
Okay, blending.
Mixing.
So a lot of times, what I'll do is I'll take elements from both songs and kind of start to incorporate both of them. So like for example, like if I have canon in D, which is in 4/4 in the key of D, and then this is a combination I do a lot, going into Lover by Taylor Swift, which is like a 3/4 song. I'll put them both in the key of D, and then what I'll do is I'll have canon and D start to be in a triplet rhythm. So then you get that 3/4 waltzy vibe before you get into the Lover song, and then it sounds like it fits. That's the best I can describe it.
I would think of it like, say you go to a concert and a band doesn't stop playing, and before you know it, you're already dancing to the next song. So that's what they do too. Kind of like that. Because you have bands that will completely stop, the whole room stops, the dance floor clears, and then they go to the next song.
I hate that.
So, but I'm just saying. So a good one is just doing what she's doing, and she's actually doing what we're doing, or we're doing what you're doing. We don't actually change the key and stuff, but there are songs that we know that can't play on top of each other.
Right.
So sometimes we'll put another type of transition or something there, but normally we can tell in our headphones before you ever hear it.
Right.
This ain't gonna sound good.
Yeah.
So but we do have the ability to change key and stuff like that. But most times we just come up with a different way to transition.
Right. Yeah. So that's the benefit that I have is I can take the sheet music and say, okay, I need this 2 keys lower, and then find a way to make it so it just kind of seamlessly flows.
It's just always great to have great guests that teach us something new, give us something that we hadn't. You're kind of like right there with us, and it's just weird. You're playing the piano, but it's still pretty much what we're doing.
It's very similar.
It's rhythm.
And you don't want the room to drop, so you're blending the songs together, crossing over your hands. I got Cannon over here, I got Taylor over here, and I'm gonna bring them back together. So that's just really cool.
Please stop. Don't do any of this.
I mean, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, I know.
If you're watching me play, sometimes there's a little bit.
Oh my goodness! So I'm going to steal another one of Mike's questions, and we're going to ask you to leave all of our listeners with a gem that Lindsay goes by, something that your mantra. You live by.
So I would say the biggest one for me since I've started doing this is just if it's meant to be, it will happen. That was something that was really hard for me at the beginning when I felt like I needed to book all of the events that people came at me with that I had. I know. I felt like I'm like, okay, I need to lower my price to whoever's coming for me. And then what I would find is, I would book these really low dollar events, and then someone else would come to me with a larger budget for the same date, and I'm like, shoot,
wow.
like that's
can't be at 2 places at one time because there's only one of you.
Exactly. And so so just kind of becoming comfortable as a musician with letting events go. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be, and the events that I'm I don't know, destined to play, or the ones that are meant to be, they will happen. The right people will come, and that just really helped me be comfortable with letting those events go and really sticking to what I feel my value and my offering is worth.
Yeah.
And
keyword. Know your value.
Big. Yeah, it's been big.
Wow.
And that is a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
Because on one end, and we talk about this, pricing. Uh, you never know what a person's motivations or what their motivations may be to why they do what they do, financially or whatever it may be. But when you can get to that point where you can really, hold your hat, or hold yourself to your value, I think it opens the door for more success and less headaches because, there's nothing like taking an event at a lower rate and they have greater demands.
Right. Absolutely. Oh yeah, there have been a number of events where like I'm driving out, an hour and a half away, and I'm like, this is not worth it.
But you're learning.
Not
So
right,
you're
exactly.
learning,
And so yeah, so there,
we're all guilty of that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a painful thing.
Yeah. Or you show up and they have $14,000 worth of flowers, and you be like, wow.
Yeah, or you show up and you realize that they did not specify that there were stairs involved to the setup, and you're like, how are we gonna problem solve our way out of this? So
and people are just watching you go up the stairs.
So like, say if you had to, what if they told you, do they have an elevator in Notting Hill? What if you had to play the piano from upstairs?
I can do now they do have an elevator, and now I have my pianos. I can technically walk them up the stairs if I need to. I prefer not to, but I can do it, and I will be sweating like crazy by the time we're done. But we can do it.
I mean, it's so many variables that go into it. Because a client will ask me, "Have you ever been there?" I'll be like, "No." I'm gonna tell you the truth. So you're not gonna get me. I'm not like we have one venue we go to. It's a mile down to the ceremony area.
Yeah.
And it's down a ramp and it's downhill. When you come back, your glutes are gonna get fired up. I trust it's terrible, Mike. It is horrible. But you don't know that until you get there. And then you gotta lug all of this DJ equipment down to the I couldn't even imagine.
There was one, and it was back when I had my heavy piano. And so I can't pick this thing up. Like the ones I have now, I can pick everything up.
We saw you pick it up. Yeah.
But that one I could not because it weighs more than I do. And so luckily it was only like 3 stairs, but I had to get it up.
Oh, my God.
But I actually don't even know how I got it up. It was pure adrenaline.
So do you have a dolly or a wagon or anything?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I have, at this point I have multiple wagons. I have everything that I might possibly, I have all the bungee cords, I have all the things. I always show up in a different outfit than when I'm performing in. Like,
so you're learning. You're learning the way.
I have learned so much.
You know what? Pain will make you
learn.
I'll give you
also a husband who's like, you did what now? Like you had to pull it up how many stairs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I was texting him in the middle of the ceremony being like, there is no way I'm going to be able to get this down. So I need you to come save me now. And he did. And he asked no questions. Just like, where do I need to go?
Paul, you're a great guy.
You're a great guy.
Yeah.
Big ups to Paul.
Yeah, but after that, he was like, any event you do, you ask them if there's stairs.
So do you do site visits now?
Yes. For site visits.
I don't always. I have done some site visits. I don't always, but I do. Yes.
But you know what you can do? Reach out to other venues. Ask DJ. Ask some of us. Hey, have you been here? What's the load in?
Yeah, and so that's what I started.
Put in the groups. Yeah.
Yeah, and asking the wedding planners, or if I have the venue contact, just calling them and being like, okay, what's the situation?
It almost seems like they want to set you up though. Oh, girl, ain't no stairs here. You get there. Oh my God, this is horrible.
Right, yeah. That was one we laugh about now, but we're definitely crying in the moment.
The site visits are important.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could, give, the client the wrong rate.
Right.
Yeah.
Based on it.
Yeah.
Because, there are some bad situations, like Jeff said, there are some very bad situations.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I hate going to the Gaylord. Oh, I hate it.
Oh, okay. Well, you can say that. Okay.
I do.
Don't be saying that out loud.
I hate going to the Gaylord.
I'm with you. There's other ones.
Their load in is
treacherous.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there it is.
It's like walking a mile.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I remember when I played at the Arboretum, it was basically at the farthest ceremony site you can get. And I had
It
never
seems like
played
that
there
every
before.
time you go, and you don't know where you're going.
And I had no idea.
You see a bunch of roses or whatever.
So I ended up basically walking back 3 times to get all my equipment down. I should have asked questions.
We're gonna have to get you to a point where you get a person, an assistant,
right?
Almost.
Outside of Paul.
Yeah, outside of Paul.
No, and the girl that has done my content for me, she's also been great at helping with
a nephew, a cousin.
I'm just waiting until my kids get old enough so I can.
Well, they're not here yet, so by the
not there yet.
Yeah, so. But Lindsay, tell everybody where they can find you if they're looking for a pianist.
I mean, all of my things are Lindsay Knight Piano, Lindsay with an A, LINDSAY, KNIGHT Piano. That's my website, lindsayknightpiano.com, and on all the socials.
She's absolutely fabulous.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
And I do take requests on TikTok or Instagram. So if you have a mashup you want to hear, just come find me, let me know.
Play sometime on TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure that's good.
So you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and
YouTube.
Are you on Thread?
I don't use it much. I need to.
Nobody does, but we all got them. Don't worry about it. We're good. We understand.
Mostly TikTok and Instagram are the big ones.
What about Twitch?
I'm not on Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Should I?
And they just, you should because you can make money on there.
You can have an audience and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. If you get to be a certain flat level, and they cleared
all
all
remixes.
Music.
Oh,
yeah, they cleared all music now. So
yes, I saw that.
Yeah, it just came out.
I'm going back.
Hey, real quick before we get out of here, just to say this, we want to thank our platinum sponsor, Mr. James, with Curator Live, the #1 photo booth curator in the universe. Look up James at info. Oh, he's gonna put it up here for me now. 2DJ's Platinum sponsor, Curator Live, the #1.
Come on with the radio voice.
Photo booth software featuring customized, easy setup, share options, printing, analytics, and cloud-based storage. You can reach us Curator Live by phone 800-708-0247. Email info@curator.live.com.
Radio Raheem coming to you live.
Stop it. But man, once again, we want to thank you for coming on, sit down with us, coming over. She actually came to the studio too, y'all.
I did. I was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
It's always fun. Yeah. So take us home, Mike.
All right. See you guys next time, and thank you again.